Hello, I'm Hilton Johnson and I teach people how to sell. Today's lesson is part one of how to give a compelling presentation from start to finish without ever sounding pushy, aggressive, manipulative, or in any way making your prospects uncomfortable. I was in the sales business for 14 years in door-to-door sales, and I've been in the selling game for about 50 years. And in sales, of course, the resistance is already there. When you meet somebody for the first time, particularly in prospecting a call or in person, there's an automatic sales barrier there. So the first step in giving a good presentation is diffusing that resistance, ideally before it comes up. So I'm going to teach you today that I call buffers. Buffers are language techniques, phrases, comments, responses, but language that allows you to convey to your prospect that you're not going to be the pushy aggressive type, that you're going to make them feel comfortable, that you're easy to get rid of, and that in no way are you going to be high pressure. There are comments that you use in the beginning of your presentation. There are comments that you use when you hear resistance to soften the blow. There are phrases that you say to be able to ask deeper questions and more personal questions in your presentation. And there are comments that just make the whole thing go a lot smoother, even without the language of the presentation or the steps of the presentation. And by the way, you've been using buffers all of your life. How many times has someone said something to you and you could identify with what they're saying and you came back and said, well, I can appreciate what you're saying, or I've been there myself. See, that's a buffer. I just gave them a label. And over the years, I've created or come up with 82 different buffers that I use throughout the Selling by Attraction presentation, which is part of what I'm teaching you right now. You don't need 82 buffers to give a presentation. I'm going to give you some of my favorite ones today that you can use, and I recommend you begin to use these immediately in your personal life as well as your sales presentations. One of my favorite, as I said, is I can appreciate that. Here's how you can use it. When someone gives you an objection, maybe they might say, well, your price is too high. Before you respond to that, with what you want to say about the price, come back with the buffer and say, well, I can appreciate what you're saying. The price is very high. May I explain to you why it's so high? See, you're back in your presentation. Or someone says, I had a bad experience with your company. You can say, well, I can appreciate the way you feel, that no wonder you're so upset. I can appreciate that. Tell me what happened. See, the buffer softens the blow. You can think of your own, I'm sure, in your own sales world. One of my other favorite buffers is, please forgive me for asking, but, and then you ask a question. Please forgive me for asking. Almost, it is an apology. Forgive me for asking, but how's your credit? Or forgive me for asking, but what happened with that bad experience? Forgive me for asking, but why didn't you use the product from the other company? Make up your own way that you can use this. Another buffer that I like is, with your permission, I'll show my program to you. With your permission. Gets permission to ask before doing something. I like with your permission so much, I bought the trademark on it, with your permission. It's a permission-based presentation, I like to say. And the way you use that is that you basically get their okay to go to another step or to give the presentation in the beginning. It might sound like this. Folks, it sounds like you might could appreciate what we have to offer. You might could use this in your work or your home. And with your permission, I'll show you how it all works. Would you like for me to do that? Or with your permission, I'll go to the next step. Now that I've shown you part of the presentation, with your okay, I'll go to the next step. With your permission, I'll send you some stuff by email that you can look over. With your permission is a lot better than saying, hey, here's what I'm going to do. Well, I know you're going to like this. Tell you what. So rather than jump in people's faces, you buffer it with these little phrases. Another one of my favorite buffers is, if there's any part of my program that makes you feel uncomfortable, please stop me. I'm very easy to get rid of. So you do this as you're going through your presentation. If you see they're getting a little antsy, your prospect or prospects there, or even in the beginning, just say, folks, with your permission, I'll show my program to you. And if there's any part of this that you are in disagreement with, or if any part of this makes you feel uncomfortable, hey, let me know. I'll be glad to stop, and I'm the easiest person to get rid of. See, you can take buffers and use them in combination and make them even more powerful. I'm sure you can think of buffers in your own business and your own way that you can use, but always use these when you get resistance. Use these in the beginning, especially prospecting calls. Use these when you want to go deeper in a presentation, and use these throughout to convey to your prospect you're not there to ram anything down their throat. You're not there to sell them in a hard way. You're not there to make them feel uncomfortable in any way. And very important, be sincere when you say it, because that'll come through. You've got to be sincere that you don't want your prospects to be comfortable. And that's why I got started on this whole thing. I did not want to be uncomfortable giving presentations. I didn't want my prospects to be uncomfortable. So what I would do is I created these buffers over time to make my presentation more smooth, more friendly, more of a connection with my prospect, and to still allow me to give a very strong presentation. I was doing a speaking engagement one time. A lady said to me, "You know what I like about your style, Hilton? You're aggressive, but you do it in such a nice way." And she was right on the money. Buffers allow you to be aggressive, but you do it in a nice way that you don't offend people. Now, if you've got my Selling by Attraction album, my CD program, I recommend you listen to the Buffer CD, which is the #1 CD, every day for a week. Drive that information into your subconscious mind. If you have an interest in purchasing that program, go to salesu.com, SALESU, as in university.com, and you can take a look at the program. Also, if you're not getting my biz tip of the day, there are 1 or 2 lines that I write. Of the 50 years I've been in direct sales, what I've learned, little tips and techniques, maybe some wisdom of mine that I've learned over the years. They're all mine. They're completely original and non-promotional, no cost, no obligation. They're sent out by email. Sign up for my biz tip of the day by Hilton Johnson. And I am Hilton Johnson, and thank you for joining me. My next lesson is going to be on easy exits, the second and very important part on how you diffuse resistance before it comes up. And you diffuse resistance, if you do get it, throughout a presentation, so that your presentation is warm and friendly throughout. I'm Hilton Johnson. Thank you.